Hey guys, it's Sydney with Tastefully Frugal. Happy Thursday. Today we are going to be talking about iron-on vinyl again. Last week we talked a little bit about iron-on vinyl basics, and today we're going to be talking about layering iron-on vinyl. We'll share some do's and don'ts, as well as doing a project showing you 2 different ways to layer iron-on vinyl. So let me make sure that we're going in all of our groups. If you are here, go ahead and say hi and let me know where you're coming in from and if you have any questions on layering iron-on vinyl. So let me make sure we're going everywhere we need to be going, and we'll get started in just a second. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started. First, I want to show you, this is a project we're going to be making. We are going to be making these diamonds, and this is kind of like a extreme case of layering iron-on vinyl where you're using several different types of iron-on. If you're trying to make a Mickey Mouse shirt or something like that, you might not have so many different kinds of iron-on vinyl, but we're going to be working with up here, or down here we have everyday iron-on as our base, and then we have sparkle, holographic iron-on, regular holographic iron-on, and then foil iron-on. Hey Melly, you are coming in from San Diego. How is your new Explorer Air 2 treating you? Are you doing more projects? I'm excited to see more of what you create. Melly won our Explorer Air 2 giveaway that we did last month, I think, and we have more machine giveaways coming soon. And then up here, I guess I should show you up here. So down here is you have everyday iron-on as your base, and everything is layered on top. Whereas here we have glitter iron-on, and then we slice out all the pieces as well. So I'll show you how to do each way, why you would do slicing versus layering and things like that. So let's go ahead and start with the basics of layering iron-on. To get the best results out of your project, make sure it lasts longer, you want to make sure that you are layering a max of 3 times. Usually 2 times is best. And if you are layering iron-on directly on top of iron-on, like you would here with everyday iron-on, only use the everyday iron-on for your base layer. Let me show you. So you just want to use anything that says the everyday iron-on. This is the best one to use as your base layer. If you use a glitter or a holographic or a sparkle or a mesh as the base layer and you put other types of iron-on on top, you're going to get that pattern through your second layer of iron-on, and it's not going to look as good. So here we are just doing straight layering. If you have a material that you want to use as your base that is not everyday iron-on, like a glitter iron-on, that is when you would want to slice your design like we did up here and put your layers around it. So I pre-cut all of our designs so we can just talk today about layering. So here is all of the designs together. We're not going to press it just like this because we'll have to go through and cut the designs, but like this is what the slicing will look like. You will just slice out all of these individual pieces here. If you were doing the layering, you just have your full diamond up front. So that is tip number 1. When you are layering, if you are going to layer iron-on on top of another layer of iron-on, always use everyday iron-on. If you're using scissor iron-on, or Caesar, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. If you're using Caesar, just do the easy weed, the basic as your base layer, and then any specialty iron-on top. My second tip is before you start pressing, go and check the Easy Press heat settings guide. Even if you're not using an Easy Press, to do the pressing, it will tell you what temperatures you need for either your heat press or if you're doing an iron. I know you can't really change the temperature of an iron, but it gives you an idea of what materials need to be hotter and what materials need the heat not to be as much. And you want to set your Easy Press to what the lowest temperature you're pressing. So we are doing, like I said, we're doing everyday iron-on today. We're doing a holographic iron-on. We're doing a holographic sparkle iron-on. We're doing a foil iron-on and a glitter iron-on. So I went ahead and I checked in the Easy Press heat settings guide. And if you just Google Easy Press heat settings, it'll take you to the site on Cricut, and all you do is you put in your material that you're pressing. So we are doing, and also we're going to do kind of a tougher project. We're doing a canvas bag. These canvas bags, I will tell you, are probably one of the hardest materials that you will do iron-on, just because of the texture. It doesn't go on as easy. So we are definitely we are doing a more difficult project today, but to show you how easy it is to iron on, do layering iron on a difficult project. So when you do it on like a cotton shirt or a polyester shirt or a tote bag, it'll be super simple for you. Anyways, when you go to the EasyPress heat settings guide, you can select the material you're pressing, you can select the type of iron-on you're using, and then it will tell you the temperature you need. So I am going to, as we continue to talk, I went ahead and checked, and our lowest temperature is 270. So I am going to turn on my EasyPress and set it to 270. And it's going to preheat. We're just going to use the 6x7 EasyPress today. Also, when you go into the EasyPress heat settings guide and put in whether you're using the EasyPress Mini, the EasyPress 2, or the EasyPress, I was originally going to do the EasyPress Mini. However, the sparkle iron-on and the holographic iron-on, it suggested not using the EasyPress Mini with those materials. So that is why we are using the 6x7 EasyPress 2. So we have that preheating now. Also, another tip, so we're going to set it to 270, the lowest temperature, even though for everyday iron-on it's supposed to be 340. We're going to be pressing it twice, so it'll have plenty of time to adhere to our canvas bag. You'll also want to cut down the time by about 10 seconds on your first press. So when we are pressing our everyday iron-on, even though it's for 30 seconds, we're only going to press it for about 20 seconds. Because we're going to be pressing it again later, and we don't want to burn our iron-on. Let me show you what burnt iron-on looks like. So right here is what our design is supposed to look like. Do you see how it's kind of reflective and you have that like purple sheen right there? This is what happens if you burn your iron-on. See how it's more like this center part is more textured, and it looks gold instead of, sorry guys, I'm working backwards here, instead of this silver color. So that is why you want to make sure that you do not overpress. On iron-on, like everyday iron-on and glitter iron-on, it's not as big of a deal, but when you're working with more delicate iron-on materials like your holographics and your foil, the amount of time you press and the temperature is super important. Also, another tip and a question I get asked or I see in our groups all the time is, what am I doing wrong? The iron-on is not sticking to my material. There's two different kinds of peel. There's warm peel and there's cool peel. Warm peel is when you take the plastic backing off right after you're done pressing, and cool peel is when you completely let it cool before you remove the plastic backing. I have learned to just let everything cool peel. Even though a lot of materials are warm peel, I let everything cool peel just to make sure it's in there. And if you don't want to wait, because if you just set your design like this design, since we're pressing it twice, we would probably have to sit for like 3 or 4 minutes before we remove the layer, the backing. So what we're going to do is, if it's cold outside, you can rub your project against a window, or we're going to just rub it on the table like this. I'll show you when we're pressing it, and that will help it cool down as well. So let's go ahead and get started with our project. If anybody has any questions, as we're pressing, I'll try to keep an eye on the questions, but let's go ahead and bring you guys down table level here. Okay. So we are going to do both projects at the same time. We are going to do our layering project down here. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to do our layering project down here, and then we're going to do our slicing up here. Also, another thing that will come in handy, this heat-resistant tape is going to help you. I'll show you when we start slicing. So let me show you here. So you have your base layer, but then we have the middle, we have the outside, and we have the top. So once we start slicing these pieces together, they're not going to stick down as much. So we use the heat-resistant tape to make sure that the plastic backing stays down and the iron-on doesn't move. You want to make sure when you're using heat-resistant tape that you put it on the plastic and not on the iron-on. If you are putting it over the iron-on, even on top of the plastic, it's heat resistant. So not as much heat's going to get through, and your iron-on's not going to go on. So first things first, let's preheat our bag for about 5 seconds. Let's see if I can scoot you back. You don't need to be that close. All right, so make sure it is preheated. That allows your iron-on to adhere better. We're going to line up our base layers here. Okay, we have our base layers on. Now we are going to just press for 270. We have it set for 30 seconds, but I'm going to stop it at 20. Like I said, for that base layer, you don't need to do the full press because we'll be pressing it multiple times. Okay, so I pressed it for 20 seconds. I'm going to let it cool here. I'm going to take it off the mat because the Easy Press mat helps keep the heat in your material, and we don't want the heat in the material right now. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start clipping our iron-on. So when you are, whether you're doing the slice method or the layering method, we want to be able to get everything in 2 presses. So I am going to put everything together in one. So I am clipping the plastic away as close to the iron-on as possible. I am, however, leaving some space up top and down low so that I can, I'm going to leave it on the outside layer so that I can use that transfer tape to press down. So there's our first one. And so this one is going on our outside. This is the sparkle is going on the outside. So I am just going to cut the inside out because that's where this holographic is going to go. And then again, we are going to cut as close as possible to our iron-on. So as you can see there, we have cut basically there's right up to the plastic. Hey Judy, happy to have you from Phoenix as well. We just moved down to the Phoenix area last year and we are loving it. So I'm just finishing cutting these up. Have you guys, Judy or Mel or anyone else that's viewing this, have you done layered iron-on projects before? Do you have success? What types of projects have you guys done? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. Or if you haven't had success and you've had frustration, share those as well so we can maybe troubleshoot and see what happened. So with the triangle, because the top, there's nothing going up top on the triangle, I'm going to leave the top plastic on so that I can apply that heat resistant tape. Also, another question I get asked, do you need a Teflon sheet or a protecting sheet when you are pressing? The answer is, do you need a Teflon sheet? No, you do not need a Teflon sheet because this plastic backing you can reuse. So you can use it as your Teflon sheet, but you want to make sure when you are layering an iron-on project that you do have a protector over what you've already pressed. So when we layer all these pieces, I'm going to put this backing back on top to protect these 2 layers. It'll protect the layers, but it will also protect the bottom of my Easy Press as well. So let me that. All right, guys, we're almost done with this. Oh, we don't need to cut that side. We just need to cut the inside. side. And then we'll start pressing. Oh, Gabby, don't even know where to start with the design space. Okay, Gabby, in the post that I linked, it gives you design space screenshots of what to do, how to layer, and things like that. So you'll want to check that out. Nothing layered on clothes. I've layered regular vinyl on a reusable bottle. That is one that we have to show too, is how to layer regular adhesive vinyl. I would love to see your bottle, Melly. Do you like me calling you Melly or Mel? Let me know. Okay, we've got everything sliced. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this plastic backing. Let's angle down so you can see. So we have our diamond piece, or our solid piece, and then we have our glitter piece. So there are our bases. Next, we are going to start layering our inside pieces onto the diamond. So let's go ahead and, because we have the lines here, let's layer our glitter one first. Can you see this? Hold on, let me. All right. I want to make sure you guys can see. Okay, so I'm just lining this up here. Okay, now I am going to take my heat-resistant tape, because as you can see how it's like bending up? We don't want that. So I'm just going to get a long piece of heat-resistant tape and cut it, so that way I can just cut little pieces as I need them. So I'm going to put this down here. So I put a piece of heat-resistant tape down there, and let's put one up top as well to keep it from moving. Okay, now let's do our other side. Lining it up to make sure that it is not on top of our glitter. Melly or Mel, I can do both of those. When I was younger, I loved the Spice Girls, and Sporty Spice was my favorite. I think she went by Melly, and Scary Spice went by Mel. Maybe it was the other way around, but I just remember those when I was younger. Okay, let's make sure we have everything lined up. So we have our two outside layers on. Let's go ahead and put our center layer on, making sure that none of the iron-on, so none of the holographic, is touching the plastic from this layer, or it will press onto the plastic and not onto our project. So there's that. And then what happened to our triangle? There we go. Then we have our triangle. So let me get one more piece of heat-resistant tape. Line this back up here. Make sure it's not on. I'm going to do this one first. And then line this one back up. And then I'm going to take the transfer sheet from the glitter, press it down over top, just to make sure that everything stays still. So we are ready to press this one. Let's go ahead and line this one up. Mel B was Scary Spice, that's right. All right, so I'm using this one as a guide to where I'm going to put this one down. So let's add this on. Again, we're making sure that this transfer tape does not touch the iron-on, or not enough heat will get through and you won't get a full press. Right there. back and fix this one. Okay, let's, that lost our little triangle again for the top. And last but not least, we're going to put in our sparkle, making sure that it is not, or our holographic, making sure it's not touching the. We're good to go. I'm going to use the plastic backing on this one, so we've got something on it. Okay. Press this back down. All right. We are ready to press. So, have our design set. Oops. Now you'll want to double check again right before you press to make sure everything is still lined up. Even though you're using heat resistant tape, sometimes you can bump stuff. You just want to make sure that everything is ready to go. So it looks like we are good to go. I'm going to press this down, and now I'm going to press for the full 30 seconds. I'm also going to do the press on the back for the 30 seconds. The reason that I didn't do that, the reason I didn't do the press at first on the back is, again, it's getting enough heat after the second press. We don't want to burn those iron-ons. So we have about 8 seconds left. Let's go ahead and we'll come back down here. We're going to flip this over and make sure when you're pressing, when you're using a material like a canvas bag or a like a onesie, make sure that when you're doing your heat press, that your easy press is over the seam, because if it's on the seam, you're not going to get a full press. So as you can see here, we're not touching the seam. It's fully connected, and we're going to just press for another 15 seconds. Just a few more seconds. Also, I just found this out as I was getting ready for this Facebook Live. There is now groups and rooms, so we could basically have like a craft night or craft day where it wouldn't be just me talking and you guys messaging. It would be all of us, and you can do it either with just audio, you can do it with video and audio. So let me know if you'd be interested in one of those, as well as what time would work for you. If a day is better for you or a night, let me know. Okay, let's come back down here. We're done with our press. Our plastic backing came off, but that's totally fine because we, as you can tell, we still have the other backings on. I'm just going to press this around the table with the scissors before I stab myself. Do this, keep pressing it until there's no more heat on my hand. This way we know that the iron-on has fully cured to our canvas bag. Okay, let's go ahead and peel it up. I am going to start down here, just to make sure you can see it. Start on the bottom. I'm just going to start. We have our main cover, which was the cover for the black everyday iron-on. I'm going to take the heat resistant tape off first. And then we are going to slowly, can you see this? Okay, let me see so you guys can see the angle. There we go. So I am just slowly at an angle peeling away. So right now all I peeled away was this sparkle. I'm going to do the other sparkle too. You can see everything's on there. Oh, I also was able to get off the tiny square at the top. Now we are just doing, look at that. Everything is layered perfect. There is no heat burns. So see this one that was overheated, how you have the wrinkles and the ferns, versus this one. There's different angles as you move it, different colors. So let's go ahead and look at our glitter one now. I'm going to do the same thing where we're going to remove our heat resistant tape. Judy said, I've done a couple. I did 2 shirts the same and got one too hot and the other gold crinkled, so I didn't do it as long on the second one. Yeah, the foil iron-on and the holographic too can be a little temperamental. So that is one that you want to make sure that you are not overheating. I don't use the foil a whole lot. Okay, so we are going to start peeling here. Can you see that? So there is our first side. Let's see. You see that? There was our second side. We are going to peel up our... Okay, so what happens if you start peeling and you see that it's not sticking and it's completely cooled? We will do a repress here in just a second. And let me check. It looks like the holographic hasn't either. So we are going to want to be very careful with our repress because we don't want to burn this. So I am going to put our plastic backing back on. I'm going to be very careful not to touch this one with the Easy Press because we don't want to ruin it. And we are going to just press it for about 10 seconds. We're going to flip it over. Oops. Easy Press mat. Do another 10 seconds. Again, this is why we always press at the lowest temperature, because if you need to repress, you have the least amount of temperature going on there. Janine, I can't get it to weed. Any tricks? On iron-on vinyl, I always start, well, one tip, we'll let this cool down while I give you tips on weeding. Base your choice of iron-on vinyl on your project. For example, if you're doing like a smaller project that has like small letters in it, I would not use glitter iron-on, just because glitter has a hard time cutting the smaller designs and it's going to be hard to weed. Use everyday iron-on or sparkle iron-on for those smaller designs. I also always start weeding when I weed, and also when I remove the plastic backing. I always start in the top left corner, and I always peel down, whether it's whether I'm weeding or whether I'm peeling off the backing. Peel down at a 90-degree angle as close to the backing as you can. That way, if for whatever reason something is not sticking, it doesn't get completely ruined. If you are still having issues, it might be a blade. Your blade is either dull or not cutting deep enough. You can go into Design Space and change the pressure to more. Also, if you were using an Air 2 and you're using different types of iron-on instead of everyday, I always set my Air 2 dial to custom and pick in Design Space the exact iron-on I'm using. For example, when I was cutting these, I cut the holographic first, and I didn't change the holographic sparkle to holographic sparkle, and I didn't get a clean cut, so I had to go through and recut it. So make sure to check the iron-on that you're using and select that specific iron-on in Design Space so that your Cricut knows exactly how much pressure you need. So let's go ahead and try this again. All right. Here's our backing. So this is just our main backing. Looks like we peeled off one of our layers. But this is totally fixable. So we'll just press this back down. Again, as you can see, there is a lot of trial and error when you're working with so many different types of iron-on. I'm just trying to get this back down so it's not on the glitter. And we are going to press again for just about 10 seconds. Yes, it is a super intricate design. I would say the easiest way, as you can tell, to do layering is to have one piece of, like one full piece and then layer on top, versus doing the slicing way. It's also easier to do in Design Space unless your design is pre-sliced. And if you're using just like everyday iron-on and glitter iron-on is like the easiest material to work with. It's so forgiving. It presses super easy. So glitter iron-on is one of my favorites. Let's go ahead and cool this down. So we're having problems playing the video. What happened here? you guys can still hear me. It shows that I'm still live, but it says we're having trouble playing the video. So, trying to get us back on camera. Give me just 1 second so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, looks like you guys can still see me. I just can't see me. So, we are going to go ahead and peel this off. Again, we're peeling at an angle. We can get it to stick on, and then, even though this is peeling, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything on, and then I'm just going to do one last press. So I want to make sure that our foil is on, but I also need to be careful so that we don't ruin it with wrinkling it or with heating it too much. Okay, so we have our little triangle on. I'm just trying to get our holographic on. Okay. I hope you guys can see this. I can't see if you guys are seeing this, so if you're not able to see it, so it says I froze. Okay, froze a little, but we are back. We are getting this on, as you can see. Again, this is live, so I want to show you guys. Not even though you see the videos and you get the perfect finished pretty project, it does take some playing with. Alright, so it looks nice, but our pieces right here are not fully on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the clear backing, not the glitter one, because I don't want that glitter in the on the foil. I'm going to press this down. And I'm just going to press this design one more time for about 10 seconds. Alright, I'm glad that the video came back. Oh good, you can see me and hear me. That is a positive. Even though I do like hearing my voice, I don't like talking to myself. Heat up the back. And then we are going to just peel at an angle to make sure. Actually, we need to let it cool. So we are going to let it cool. Let me see if I can see me on my phone so I know that you're actually looking at me and you're not looking up at space. All right. Gabby says, what technique would you use for a basic Mickey? All everyday iron-ons? Yeah, so Smart Iron-On is the iron-on that you can use with the Joy that you can use without a mat. For Mickey, I would definitely use an everyday iron-on for the head. And then if you're doing like a mini and you want to do a bow, you can do anything. You could do glitter, you could do another everyday iron-on, you can do foil, anything like that. So I think we are cool. This mat is cool. Maybe not. I'm going to go ahead and let this cool so we're just not sitting here, and I will post a picture of the finished project and try to get an up close look view so you guys can see what it looks like at the end. But if you have any other questions about iron-on, let me know in the comments, because I'm also going to post in both groups a sign up to see when would be a good time to do a live crafting meeting room. So it's in the Facebook groups, so you will have to get an invite to be there. Pretty much everybody that's watching this, I think, is in one of our Facebook groups. And it's just kind of like a Zoom meeting where we all hang out and craft. We can ask questions, and it'll be fun. So I hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you later. We'll see you next week.